runs like 20 minutes before curfew.
Yeah.
I don't know, because that's when we would always go, and I'd have to get chocolate covered pretzels and orange juice for some reason. That's what I got every single time. I don't know, it's weird. Yes, Cheetos. Okay, yeah, you need that for some reason.
Hot Cheetos and a Nas. Hot
So-
Cheetos and a Nas, yeah.
That's okay, as long as you have that budgeted in. And some of you, your income right now might be just work study. It might be, maybe your parents are giving you an allowance every month. That's awesome. But, like it says in the Bible, if you are responsible with little, you will be given much. And that's good. If you can't handle the 30 bucks of allowance you get a month, or 50 bucks of allowance, or whatever, then it's gonna be so much harder when you get out and get a $2,000 paycheck every month. Like, can you imagine if you just used to just blowing things, going to QT? I mean, I help so many adults now who have children, and their budget is off every month because their QT runs. It's kind of cute, but that's preventable, is what I'm getting at. So, set up a budget. And my number one rule with paying off student loans is don't neglect your basic needs to pay your student loans. Like me, I didn't go to the doctor, I would pay my student loan. Don't do that, okay? If you get sick and get in the hospital, it's gonna screw up a lot more stuff than just your student loan payment. Yeah.
These classes that Bloomberg is offering.
So we don't have one specifically on student loans. A lot of our people don't have student loans.
So like for just like budgeting and.
Yes, we do have budgeting classes, and we don't have one right now, but we do that. We kind of poll everyone and see when they need that, and then we offer it. So yeah, it is something that we do. Okay, so here's the basic budget right here. Income's $1,500 a month. You have $1,115 in just basic expenses, and so you've got $385 left over. And this is after saving. Saving is super important because it's going to be some rainy day that comes up, and you're going to have a flat tire, or you're going to have something crazy that happens, and you're not going to have money for it. Saving is super important.
This is the first game.
Interest. That was one.
Those of you that have the hidden rules of economic class done, due today, or no, sorry, due the 19th, sorry.
What?
Never mind, wrong day. I was 2 days off.
Does anybody have like a mint or something? Okay, I'll do that. That'd be great. Thank you so much. I knew, oh, okay, this will actually be a little better. Thank you so much. I knew I lost my voice while I was on my vacation. I think I just didn't talk enough because I was by myself. And I knew that I was going to hit a point today where I was going to have talked too much, and I did. Okay. Where was I before I sounded like I was going to throw up?
1,500 a month.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So saving is super important. Please save, even now. Save $5 a month, okay? I promise, it'll be great. So once you have those basics taken care of, then go ahead and fit in your student loans. Don't starve yourself to pay your student loans. I mean, maybe eating beans and rice once in a while will save a little money on food is good, but don't starve yourself. Okay, debt snowball. I'm actually going to get to one of the worksheets. So this one right here. Have any of you heard of Dave Ramsey?
Yes.
Okay. He's a super great guy who does a lot with budgeting and teaches tons of budgeting skills. He's great. He's not super forgiving when it comes to student loans, so when people ask him for advice on student loans, his first thing he says is usually like, you were an idiot, why did you take all that out? Well, Dave doesn't help anybody because we did take it out, so what are we going to do with it now? That's kind of my response. But he does something called a debt snowball, which is super helpful. And that's basically, you list all the debts that you have, smallest first, and then kind of go in order from there. And you make your minimum payment on all of those debts. And when that first one is paid off, then you take that $40 a month that you were putting toward that that debt. Here's an example. Let's say you have these 5 accounts. This is how much you owe on each one, and this is the payment that you're making. So once you put the smallest one first, because you're going to pay that off faster, and it's really exciting when you get to pay something off fairly quickly. If you do like highest interest rate first, that might make more sense, but then it might take you longer to pay it off, and you need a quick victory. I always joke that when Hitler was starting to gain power, he went after Poland first. He didn't go after Russia first. He went after Poland because it was close by, it was small, they weren't suspecting it, it was a quick victory. And he knew that if he was going to be successful, he needed a quick victory, okay? That's why I went after Poland. And then Russia later, which was a bad idea anyway. But once you get that first one paid off, then instead of saying, ooh, great, now I get an extra $25 a month to do whatever I want with, you go ahead and you throw that at the next loan. So you're snowballing your amount. So you're not paying any less each month, even though you might have started paying things off. You're putting that toward that next bill. And so you get things paid off much faster that way. And that's pretty exciting. And then at the end, it's like, wow, now I have all of this extra at the end of each month, so you can start saving that. It's a pretty great program. So this is just kind of an example sheet, something you might want to set up at some point. Come back to it, or just hold on to this until you're actually paying things off. Okay. The next one, I talked about Peace Corps a little bit. You guys heard the Peace Corps? Was a bigger deal like back in the 90s. I feel like everybody was going to the Peace Corps. But they do a lot of service. They're not a Christian organization, but they do a lot of service overseas in needy areas, war-torn areas. They have a lot of people going in and teaching English. And you can go into this program, serve them, work there for 2 years, they pay you. And then at the end of the 2 years, they will give you a chunk. Sometimes it's $8,000, sometimes it's more or less. It's around $8,000. A lot of people go in and then they use that to pay off their student loans. That's an idea. I just put this up here because that's what I really wanted to do. But unfortunately for me, they wouldn't take me because I had too many student loans. Because they have a rule that only a certain percentage of your income each month can go towards paying student loans, and my percentage was too high. And they said, you're too unstable, we won't take you. And I was like, well, I resemble that. That's kind of offensive. But it was true, and that's how I realized this whole thing about not neglecting yourself to pay your student loans. Like, if the Peace Corps thinks I'm too unstable to take me, then maybe I am. Probably am unstable. And so I really worked on that. So somebody please go in the Peace Corps and just let me live vicariously through you. It's pretty cool. Another thing that I want y'all to be aware of is scammers, because there's over $1 trillion in student loan debt in America right now. It's like, I don't even remember the exact figure, but it's big business. And so of course there are people lining up who are trying to scam you. So some of them will come in, like if you get letters from third-party companies saying, oh yeah, we'll help you with student loan forgiveness, or we'll consolidate, or just pay this small fee and then we'll do this for you. Like, you don't have to do that, because a lot of your government loans have those programs built in. So generally, if you get unsolicited help for student loans from a third-party company, they're probably a scam. A lot of our clients get phone calls, and they're just kind of like, they're spammers, and they cast a really wide net, and they'll say, hi, this is so-and-so from government student loan relief, and we're calling regarding your student loan balance, so call us back today, or we'll take action. And that's fake. Even you can tell when you get a voicemail and that they're not calling you by name, they're not any of those things. You can tell a lot of the times that that's fake. So don't fall into any of that. Call your company directly. I want to see anybody get further behind in life because of something like this. Okay, basic tips. We already kind of covered a lot of these. Even if you're struggling, pay something every month, even if it's $20. That just shows, like, and do that with medical bills too, or any kind of bill you have. Pay something every month. It shows that you're trustworthy and you're trying, even if you can't fulfill the entire obligation. It's always good to find somebody that you can trust. Maybe it's a parent who can help you figure out a budget and student loan payoff. Maybe it's somebody at your church. Find somebody to kind of share your plan with and keep you accountable. Keep your stuff organized. How many of you consider yourselves organized people? Okay, good. You don't have to be super duper organized, but when it comes to student loan papers, you're going to want to make sure you have those handy. So get a folding, like one of those accordion files. You don't even have to look at it, just put it in there and hold on to it until you need it. Okay, one of my favorite things to do anytime you have to make any call about a bill or something, take notes. Because sometimes they'll tell you over the call, oh yeah, we can do this, and they set up a payment plan, and you call and do it a month later, and they don't know what you're talking about. Sometimes they lose things. They don't keep good notes. So take notes yourself. It's super, this is what made my lawsuit successful. I wouldn't even have been able to do it if I had not been taking notes and stuff. But it was good for me to see how things worked. And I've used this for other stuff that I didn't have to sue anybody on. And it worked out. It also helps you, because if you've got 5 student loans, are you going to be able to remember the details of every single one? Probably not. So that's what this is for. This other sheet that I gave you. This is for you just to put the basic information for each loan on there. So I've split it out between Department of Ed loans and private loans. So put the servicer on there, private loan it is, the amount, the date you got the loan, the total balance, the interest rate. It says 5% fixed on there. And on the bottom one it says 11% variable, because that means it can change. A lot of private loan companies, it's a variable rate, so they'll just charge you whatever they want, basically. So go for the fixed rate. It's not going to jump around on you. And then your payment plan, that's important to know too. Any other notes you might have, because this is a lot of information to remember, and you don't have to remember if you write it down. So that's super important. Again, here's my email. It's on your sheet, and it's probably in the syllabus too. But if you ever have any questions, even if it's in a couple of years, please call me. If your roommate was about to graduate and is terrified, you can have them call me too. Like, this is just something that's really important to me to help students figure this kind of stuff out. What kinds of questions do you have in the last couple of minutes? You guys are so great to ask me in the moment. I think that's super helpful. Bill, was there anything I didn't say that I normally say?
I think you covered it. Should we do appreciation?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just curious. We like to do our one-word appreciation sometimes, and that's just one word for how you feel right now. So good and bad. You can itchy. You can say that. You can say tired. I don't care. But I'm just curious how this makes you all feel. Even if it's overwhelmed, you can say that. First, put it here. Overwhelmed? Okay. Overwhelmed? All right. Fine. Okay. Hey, we got fine. That's good. Stress. Nervous. Okay. Okay, good.
I have the word itchy.
Itchy? Yeah.
Interested.
Good.
Like kind of mad.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
She had an interest in you.
Aware.
Aware. Okay, I wasn't sure where that was going.
Fine.
Fine. Okay. Anxious. Anxious.
No.
Mellow. All right. So again, I don't want y'all to be scared, Because there is enough information out there, and you are all smart enough to handle this. You have what you need, the school will give you what you need, the servicers will send you what you need. Don't be scared, just pay attention, and you'll be fine. Pay attention and work hard. That's good advice for most of life. So thank you all for being here. Let me know if you have questions. Thank you
Make
for
sure
the
to bring
minutes.
your
That's my appreciation.
assignments next Thursday. And Bright Space.
It's on Friday.
Easy?
Yes.
What is about? It's not gonna what? There's a really good secret hidden roles. What? And then hidden roles
Teenagers usually like their master's degree or their PhD. And then like work in the field. She's like a teenager.
I could just see on your goalie's face, like, they're watching how I go fishing.
Oh,
So
so
about 45 minutes.
It was,
Doing little